Good evening. Today is Wednesday, May 6th, 2020. Wanted to reach out and kind of give an update on where the school is at in relation to Governor Pritzker's five-phase plan that was released yesterday. So I've had a number of people contact me with questions, and I thought it would be good to just put some general information out there to answer some of those questions as best as I can. First of all, I want to say thank you to the building level principals. They've been very good about communicating information, building level specific information in regards to the end of the school year and trying to wrap those things up. So thank you to them for that. And thank you to the families that have been working with us to coordinate those efforts and get those things done. It's a very challenging time. I understand that. Now, the question came up was, well, it says phase 4 is when schools can reopen. What does that mean for schools? And specifically, what's that mean for Dunlap? And I won't go through the specifics of the plan because you can read those for yourself, what it means to be in phase 4, but just a very brief overview. There are certain percentages, metrics that have to be met. A vaccine has to be in place, testing readily available, many things that we're just not there yet. So we are not at that point to be in phase 4. There's also limitations on, even in phase 4, you can have no gatherings of 50 or larger, something along those lines. So even if we get to phase 4, it's not business as usual. Business as usual is phase 5. So the meetings that I sat in on today to have specific conversations around that topic of start of school next year included a regional office of education meeting this morning. There were 29 participants in that meeting, administrators and superintendents from Central Illinois. Within that group, there are also members that serve on different state level committees, whether that be with the Illinois State Board of Education or with the Illinois Association of School Administrators. And then I followed that up with a LUDA conference meeting. LUDA is Large Unit District Association, which Dunlap is a member of. It's a statewide organization from Rockford to Carbondale, and local schools that are in that would be ourselves, Peoria Public Schools, Galesburg, Bloomington. The larger unit districts are members of that, and those are ones specific to our area. And then this afternoon, I followed it up with a national level meeting with a group out of Washington, D.C., just to get some feedback on a national level. What others are seeing and experiencing and thinking as far as the start of school. To be very short, sweet, and to the point, I think with 100% certainty, the start of school next year is going to be something that none of us have ever seen before. The talk is of a hybrid model. Now, what that looks like, there's been many different ideas thrown around, so there is no specific guidance of you will do this, you will do that. That is yet to come. But one of the models that seems to be gaining the most traction is like an A-B day format. Where on A days, half of your students will be in class and the other half will be at home. And then on B days, those roles flip-flop. Those are at home, come to school, and those were in school, stay home. Again, all speculation at this point. The bottom line is this: the start of school will be something none of us have seen in our lifetime and hopefully never see again. The other question came up was, well, when do we return to normal? When is phase 5? Well, again, it depends on, when we get to phase 4, meet all those criteria, and then the criteria as outlined in his plan to move to phase 5, business as normal. In all conversations I had today, no one seemed to think that would happen before, unfortunately, 2021. So I don't know when that will happen. Obviously, no one does. But there are a lot of concerns as far as, well, what will that look like at the start of school? I mean, you ask one question and then 3 more evolve from it. I just wanted to reassure the Dunlap families within the school district that we are very aware of these concerns, have many of these same concerns ourselves. We are working with those agencies that have direct access to the governor to make sure that our concerns are at least shared and we have a voice at the table. So when they formulate a plan, at least they've heard some of the concerns from the local school districts of how a plan, when actually put into place, comes to fruition, what does that really look like in practice? Because it can be, a little bit different than what they think it will be on paper. And also, I think it's important. We need that face-to-face in August, not only for educational reasons, but some of our families are hurting. What does that do for childcare? If we have to do some type of remote learning at that time, how do you transition a kindergartner into a first-time school experience when it's a remote environment, or even an eighth grader going to a freshman? There's a lot of these questions. So with that, we will be forming task force to identify some of these issues and get a plan in place. It's going to take some time. It's a very involved process, and that's been one of our pushes to the government entities is don't do to us what you did with this remote learning plan, where it was sprung on us relatively quickly. I mean, I've talked about that before in other podcasts. My team put this together really in 3 days and did a phenomenal job under the circumstances. But when you're looking at the start of a school year, that's not something that can be done overnight. So we need clarity and direction as far as dates and timelines and expectations. But then I hope that they are also listening, that we would like to retain some local control, because what works in Dunlap may be completely different than what would work for a Chicago inner city school or a Southern Illinois more rural school. Each school is unique, and allow us to embrace our uniqueness and the circumstances in which we operate, and allow us to have some of that local control on how we do things. Again, I just want to touch base and say that's the information I have. I've gained that information through local, state, and national sources today, and they've all been pretty consistent. So I feel pretty comfortable in saying, expect something different in the fall. No, we do not know what that is, but I can just tell you it will be something different than what we've seen ever. And we will get through this, and we will get it accomplished, especially if we all work together. So again, thank you. I appreciate your patience and understanding. In the meantime, be safe, take care of yourself, take care of your families, and I certainly hope to see you again soon. Take care.